Every morning before the noise starts, before the emails, the meetings, the pressure, I take a moment to reset. Not just to plan the day, but to anchor myself. Because the truth is, the way you start your morning sets the trajectory for everything that follows. Most people roll out of bed and immediately start reacting to problems, to notifications, to the weight of unfinished tasks. But that's not how you build something meaningful. That's not how you stay aligned with a mission that actually matters. So I developed a system, not complex, not technical, but powerful. Just 5 things I tell myself every single morning. 5 core reminders. 5 mental calibrations that help me stay focused, stay grounded, and stay clear on why I do what I do. They're not mantras, they're operating principles. They cut through the chaos, shut down the self-doubt, and help me move with intention, whether I'm stepping into a launch, a failure, or an entirely new challenge. These 5 things, they've kept me moving when things didn't go as planned. They've helped me build when motivation was gone. They've helped me think clearly when pressure was high and time was short. And they can do the same for you. Not because they're magic, but because they force you to decide how you want to show up for your own life before the world decides for you. So if you're serious about building, about leading, about pushing the limits of what's possible, start here. These are the 5 things I tell myself every morning. Every morning, the first thing I tell myself is this: I am alive for a reason, and I don't mean that in a poetic, vague kind of way. I mean it literally. Out of billions of people, billions of possibilities, I woke up today with breath in my lungs, ideas in my head, and a shot, one more shot, one more shot, one more shot. To build, to serve, to create, to serve. That's not random. That's not meaningless. Not meaningless. That's a responsibility. Most people underestimate what it means to be alive. They confuse existing with living. But there's a massive difference. Existing is waking up, scrolling your phone, going through the motions, playing defense. Living is stepping into the day with intention. It's asking, what can I contribute? Instead of what can I get? When you truly understand that your time here is finite, and that every second is non-refundable, something changes in your DNA. You stop wasting time. You stop tolerating excuses from yourself or anyone else. I've learned that people who do great things rarely start out feeling great, they just start out committed. Purpose isn't something you wait to feel, it's something you decide to live by. And when you believe you're here for a reason, even the hard days start to make sense. The failures, the rejections, the setbacks, they all become part of the blueprint, part of the story you're building, not the ending. And I get it, some mornings you wake up tired. Mentally, emotionally, physically, but remind yourself, even on those days, that breath is proof of purpose, that you're still in the fight. And if you're in the fight, you're not finished. That perspective, it's rocket fuel. It makes the impossible feel like just another engineering problem to solve. So when I wake up and say, I'm alive for a reason, I don't mean it as a motivational poster. I mean it as a strategic operating system. I align my actions, my focus, and my time with the fact that I'm here to build something that matters. And if you're breathing, then so are you. You woke up today. That means the mission's not over, so get to work. When I wake up, the second thing I remind myself is this: today is a new chance, not a repeat. It's easy to forget that. You wake up, same room, same problem, same inbox full of noise. It feels like yesterday all over again. But it's not. It's never the same. Today didn't exist until now. It's a new iteration, and just like in engineering, every iteration is an opportunity to improve the design. Think about it. Most people drag yesterday into today like a suitcase full of junk. Regret, guilt, distractions, failures, even victories, they keep reliving it. But if you're trying to build something new, you can't keep recycling old code. You need to debug. You need to reset. What didn't work yesterday isn't a failure. It's data. Today is your chance to apply it differently. You're not bound to who you were 24 hours ago. You're not hardwired to repeat the same patterns unless you choose to. That's the power of being human. You can evolve daily. And if you're not evolving, you're stalling. For me, I look at each morning like a software update. It's a chance to optimize performance, fix the errors, eliminate what's slowing things down, and push towards something better. You don't need to make a quantum leap every morning, just one adjustment. One improved decision, one less distraction, one better conversation. Compound that over time, and you've completely rewritten the code of your life. But here's the catch. You have to believe in the possibility of change. If you treat today like a copy-paste version of yesterday, it will be. But if you wake up and say, this is new, I'm new, and I get to make different choices, then you're not stuck, you're in motion. So I don't care how yesterday went. I don't care if I failed, if something exploded, figuratively or literally. I care about what I do now with this moment, this hour. This problem, this opportunity, that's where real progress lives. Every morning you either replay the past or rewrite the future. Choose wisely. The third thing I tell myself every morning is simple, but it's a game changer. I don't control what happens, but I do control how I respond. That one mindset shift. It separates people who build from people who break. There are going to be days where things go sideways, delays, criticism, systems crashing, people letting you down, ideas that look genius on paper and collapse in execution. That's life. But if your mood, your drive, your decisions are all riding on the external, you're basically handing your future over to chaos. That's not strategy, that's gambling. What I've learned over and over is that the most important variable isn't the situation, it's the reaction. The storm doesn't stop the ship, it just exposes how well it's built. And if you keep reinforcing your mindset every morning, you can face the unexpected without falling apart. You can navigate stress without defaulting to panic. That's resilience. That's where your real edge comes from. I've been in rooms where things were falling apart fast. Behind the scenes, deadlines imploding, teams scrambling, and I've seen the difference between people who breathe and adapt and those who spiral. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's mindset, it's emotional control. It's the ability to pause, assess, and respond with clarity, even when everything around you is noisy. So every morning, I calibrate. I remind myself, the market might shift, the launch might fail, the message might get misunderstood. Fine, but I decide what happens next. I decide whether that moment derails me or drives me. That's autonomy. And without it, you'll burn out fast, because the world never runs out of problems. And no, this isn't about suppressing emotion or pretending everything's okay. It's about being strategic with your energy. You've only got so much bandwidth. Why waste it reacting to what you can't control, when you could be using it to build what you can? You can't always pick the battlefield, but you can always choose how you show up on it. The fourth thing I tell myself every morning is this. Small wins matter more than big dreams alone. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for bold, audacious visions. I believe in aiming for Mars, literally and metaphorically. But vision without execution is just hallucination. The real progress, the kind that actually moves the needle, comes from small, consistent steps stacked on top of each other over time. We live in a culture obsessed with overnight success, viral moments, huge announcements. But what most people don't see are the 2 a.m. coding sessions, the prototypes that didn't work, the meetings that went nowhere, the systems that needed to be rebuilt from scratch. That's the unglamorous truth behind real innovation. It's boring, it's tedious, and it's often invisible. Because momentum is built in inches, not miles. Every morning I reset my focus to the process. Not the headline, not the finish line, the process. What can I make better today? Who can I support better? What decision can I improve by one layer? That's how the real breakthroughs happen. The big launches, the game-changing products, they're just the result of 1,000 tiny wins strung together by discipline. The problem is, if you don't value the small wins, you'll burn out chasing big ones. You'll start to think nothing you're doing matters. But that's a lie. Everything you do today, every tiny improvement, every focused hour, every difficult conversation compounds, it stacks, and it becomes the thing everyone calls a breakthrough later. So stop waiting for the giant leap. Build the ramp, lay the brick, tighten the screw. If you do that every day, the dream stops being an idea and starts becoming a machine. Greatness isn't a moment, it's a patron. The fifth thing I tell myself every morning is this: I refuse to be my own enemy today. And that one's harder than it sounds. Because the truth is, most of the resistance we face doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. From the voice that says, "You're not ready, you'll mess it up." Or, "What if this fails again?" That voice is subtle. It doesn't yell, it whispers. It waits until you're tired or unsure. It talks you out of sending the email, launching the idea, making the call, taking the risk. And if you don't check it, it runs the entire system. I've learned to challenge that voice the moment I wake up. Because if you don't interrupt self-doubt, it will write your entire day. You'll procrastinate and call it a planning. You'll hold back and call it a being careful. But what you're really doing is building walls between you and your own potential. There's already enough resistance out there. Regulations, competition, technical problems, market shifts. So why add yourself to the list of things holding you back? Why become the bottleneck in your own system? Every morning I make a decision not to sabotage what I'm trying to build. That means I don't let perfectionism delay progress. I don't let fear override action. I don't waste time comparing myself to someone else's highlight reel. Instead, I focus on forward motion, no matter how small. Because every time I take action in spite of self-doubt, I reinforce belief. I strengthen the feedback loop in the right direction. And this isn't about pretending to be fearless, it's about choosing to move anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's operating in the presence of it. It's refusing to let hesitation turn into a habit. So before the meetings, before the metrics, before the pressure starts building, I look in the mirror and make the call. Today I'm not going to slow myself down. Not with overthinking, not with second guessing, not with excuses. If I'm going to build something that matters, I can't afford to be the one standing in my own way. The sixth thing I tell myself every morning is this: gratitude is my fuel, not just a feeling. And that might sound strange coming from someone who spends most of their day in spreadsheets, strategy sessions, and engineering meetings, but it's absolutely essential, because if I start the day chasing pressure without perspective, I'm already off track. It's easy to get caught in the loop of what's next. The next milestone, the next product, the next crisis. That drive can be powerful, but without gratitude, it becomes toxic. It turns everything into a grind where nothing's ever enough. That mindset burns people out. It wrecks teams. It eats away at innovation because it turns curiosity into anxiety. So every morning I pause for just a moment, not to meditate, not to recite mantras, just to look around and say, this is incredible. The fact that I woke up, that I get to build, that I get to work with people solving real problems. That I'm not just stuck dreaming, but actually doing. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be real. Gratitude isn't about ignoring the hard stuff. It's about anchoring your mind so the hard stuff doesn't swallow you. It's about remembering that even on the worst days, you're living a version of the life you once hoped for. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not pain-free, but progress is still happening. And if you don't see that, you'll miss everything that makes it worth it. I don't rely on motivation. That fades. I rely on mission. Gratitude keeps that mission grounded. It reminds me why I started, why it matters, why it's worth enduring the stress, the setbacks, the sleepless nights. Without gratitude, ambition becomes greed. With it, ambition becomes service. You stop asking, how far can I go? And start asking, how much impact can I create? So no matter what's on the schedule, no matter what problem I'm walking into, before I check my phone, before I check the metrics, I check my perspective. You don't need more to be grateful. You need gratitude to do more.